Now, live. Broadcasting live on the Double Wide Network. It's time for The Real Deal. Join the Ambassador and Danny Q as they put together great guests and honest commentary on a range of issues. But one of their main topics will be preserving Native American tributes in sports team nicknames. These two are also avid fans of music and the arts, and they'll always make time for a great song or two. Now, it's time for The Real Deal. And here are your hosts, the Ambassador and Danny Q.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to The Real Deal on the Double Wide Network in beautiful downtown Scottsdale, Arizona. It's a beautiful day. It's getting a little warm out. Not too bad, though. It's in the 90s. And we're enjoying the good weather. We got plenty of good weather here. And Cactus League baseball is coming to an end. And we went to several games over the season here the last 6 weeks. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But I just want to say hi. Glad you're back. Tell your friends. And if you really like us, consider being a sponsor, because I'm the guy that's underwriting this thing, and it's not cheap, and I'm not a billionaire like the opposition that's going against the names. Those folks got a lot of money behind them. So with that, I'll let my co-host say hello. Hi, Danny.
Hello.
And we also have, we brought an Indian in the studio, Mark Beasley. Mark the Beast Beasley. Say hi, Mark.
The Beast is black.
The Beast is back. Okay.
I thought we were going to call him Libtard Mark.
No. We'll pass on that one. I like the Beast better. Anyway, so he's in the studio with us, and we'll talk to him in here in a little bit. And then I want to say a special shout out and goodbye, I guess, to our beautiful Lexi. She's leaving us.
I am. Thank you. I appreciate working with you guys, though.
Yeah, and you're going to where, San Diego?
Yeah, I'm going to be moving to San Diego, and hopefully for the summer, and hopefully long term after the summer. So we'll see.
Are you going to work in the radio biz?
Yeah, that's the plan. Okay. So for the summer, I'm going to work on the beach and just enjoy that, and then while I'm doing that, just try to see what I can do in the industry.
Okay. Well, we'll have to stay in touch because
for sure.
I'm going to be out there.
Cool.
I got to go to San Diego and see some people on biz.
Nice.
And then I'm going to be up in Newport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Newport Beach. Cool. And then I got some meetings in Beverly Hills with the gentleman that was here 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. I remember he was from Beverly Hills.
Yeah, and I even have to go to Palm Springs. So I'm going to be on the road, up maybe 7 or 10 days. But anyway, so we're going to get it started. I think we have some people in that want to come on from Lancaster, right, Dan?
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a little bit. There was a couple things that we were going to talk about before that.
Right.
First of all, we got really racist last week. We went to the Diamondbacks Indians game.
Yeah, we protested the Indians.
And
Dan protested the Diamondbacks, and I protested the
Well,
Indians.
rattlesnakes were very offended by that game.
Yeah, very offended. And I got my picture taken with a guy that had a Chief Wahoo shirt on.
Right.
And we posted it on Facebook that I offered to give the guy $100 for his shirt so we could take it home and burn it at the behest of Halbretter, Ray Payday Halbretter. And he says, no, he says, I won't sell it for $100, but he says, I'll sell it for $1,000. So I told Dan, I says, get a hold of Halbretter and have him wire us out $1,000. And then I said, I'm going to Western Union to get the money. And then finally I looked at Dan and I said, oh, screw the shirt. Call for the limo. We're going to City Hall, baby. No, we had a good time with it. I had several pictures with some Cleveland Indian fans, and then they want to know about the deal about the Redskins and the Indians and the Braves. And I told them, I said, these guys are coming after all these teams. They're not just coming after the Redskins. I said, they've made it very clear that they're going after the Chiefs. They're going after every one of them. And it's just what we said. It's a big elaborate scam, and it's social genocide. What they're doing to take away the tributes to Native Americans and we're not going to allow it to happen. We're going to fight like hell, and we're just going to keep going.
It's a hate crime.
Yeah.
It's just like that David Yeagley, the guy who runs the Bad Eagle publication.
Right. He's a Comanche, right?
Comanche, yeah. He's the great-great-grandson of a well-known Comanche chief. And he said back in 2009, it's a hate crime against Indians. And we wholeheartedly agree with that. Mark must agree with that because he's in here wearing an Indians hat, and unless you're just racist against yourself,
heck no. I actually love the emblem too. It's the Cleveland Indians. There's nothing racist about it.
No,
at all. No.
Danny did a great press release this week that we put out, and it talks about how these guys are going after these schools. And they know that they're easy prey, that they can go after the Lancaster school, bribe the school board, and they did that in Cooperstown. And they can go to these schools and shame them into submission to change the name because it's racist and it's bloody scalps and all the BS that they tell them. And then, of course, they seal the deal with a bag full of money. And so we put that in a press release that they have a tough time with the pro teams, but they know that they're like schoolyard bullies.
Well, you gotta think of the dynamics of a school. I mean, I've got nothing good to say about the Lancaster school board, and I don't think anybody in this room does. But they come after these schools. These are learning institutions. They're barely making it financially. They got everybody breathing down their neck. I mean, every time they try to show a movie, they got to give people alternative things to do because the movie might offend somebody, things like that. And these bullies come in there and cause a whole bunch of problems, and they'd rather just wash their hands of it and move on. It's not right to ignore your constituency when you're an elected official or somebody like a superintendent who's basically a bureaucrat. He's hired instead of elected, but he still has a responsibility to the community of the school he's serving. But these guys come in there and they know that if they juice them up with a little bit of cash under the table and say, we'll leave you alone, then these guys are going to submit half the time, maybe even more, just because they don't want the trouble. They've got other things to do, and one of those main things is educating kids. They get their benefit from it, like Lancaster School Board did, and like they've done to several other school boards, and they'd rather just move on. Luckily, we have great people in that town that are saying, enough with it. We're not going to take it. This is our school board. You work for us and our children. But, look at it from their point of view for a second. And sure, especially when you put some of that halberd money in a bag for them, it's very easy for them to do the wrong thing and cave in. But I don't see anything good about showing kids how to be wimps socially or any other way. And I think this school board's going to start to pay for that, and we'll talk a little bit about that later when we have one of our guests on. But that's they see easy pickings. Dan Snyder, he's got the money and the power, and the NFL will back him to say, "Hey, go get lost, dude. I know what your scam is, and I've heard it all before. I'm backed by 90% of Native Americans, and I'm not going to take it." A little bit harder for these schools to do the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they buckle pretty easy. But this show's going to be for all the schools in this country that have tributes to honor Native Americans. This is your show, and I don't care what nationality you are. We're gonna give you the airtime, and we're gonna stand with you. And I don't care if you're in Washington State, or if you're in Maine, or if you're in Miami, Florida. It doesn't matter. This show's worldwide, and it's your show as long as we can try to financially support this thing. Danny did reach out to the teams this week, didn't you, Dan?
I did called and left messages, and we're challenging these teams. Look, You know, I know it's a perception issue. The first thing the name changers are going to do is say, oh, you're getting paid by so-and-so, and that's why you're on. Well, guess what? We did this before we got anything from anybody. And right now, the people stepping forward are people from Lancaster, other listeners like John Valentine, who's, you know, people who are just sending the little bit they can spare because they like our show. And I wonder where these rich guys are. You know what I'm saying? We're up here fighting for them, and we're already going to be perceived in a way that they're afraid of being perceived in, and we need their help. We need to stay on. We need to keep this going, and we're not just fighting for them, but we're fighting for all our fans. Remember, GoFundMe.com/TheRealDeal.
And you can donate publicly or anonymous, however you want to do it.
Sure, we've taken a couple anonymous donations.
We have no idea who the people are, and I mean, thank you. If you're listening, thank you.
But, you know, I wanted to give a special shout-out before we get going on the show as well. I've a really good friend who's helped me through a lot of things lately, and she's recently adopted a child. Her name is Winter. She's just a baby, and this family, my friend Tony Preeter and her husband, stepped forth and took this baby, knowing that it had heart condition, and this baby has and is going through a battery of heart surgeries. And so, you know, this might be counterproductive to what we're doing here, but I got to think positive, and good things are coming to us. But also, my friend has a GoFundMe account over at CVAURK. That's GoFundMe.com at CVAURK for baby Winter. And I just wanted to give that shout out because she does listen to us every week. She is a good friend, and that's what we do here. We take care of our listeners. We take care of our fans. We take care of the libtard Mark over here.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, anything anyone can do to help. And they've been going around to the local businesses. They're in Maricopa, Arizona, which isn't too far from here, just on the edge of Pima County where it meets Maricopa. And they're trying real hard, just like we are. And so I just wanted to give that quick plug. Tony, thank you for everything that you've done. And we're here with you. Real deal. That's what we do, though. We back our listeners, and we're going to back Lancaster. This thing is starting to spread all over the place now. That, I mean, every time we open up the paper, Colorado is considering a law that is going to require. And I read into this because you were telling me how it's going to ban the Indian names, but it's actually going to require that they get permission from the tribes. So what are we talking? We're talking more payoffs. You know, it's another shakedown.
Right.
So, you know, and that's basically the kind of the uneasy arrangement that Florida State has with Seminole country, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But we have friends up in North Dakota, and they're fighting to restore their Fighting Sioux name.
I think they're going to get it done.
I think they will too, and I really, you know, I really have. When you talk to Eunice Davidson, who wrote the book, Aren't We Sioux Enough, about how they ignored the will of basically all the Sioux people, and they did this, and you know, it's just it maps out the same story that we hear over and over. They ignore the communities that they're supposed to be serving. You know, in Lancaster, we have this group of bullies. You know, John Kane, who I was sad to, well, that's another thing I should talk about. Sad to see that he's announcing the end of his radio show. And
he's probably going to go out and burn some more bingo halls.
Exactly. There's nothing really left for him to do. Halbritter probably needs some kind of...
he paid him out. He gave him his retirement fund early.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I keep saying about these name changers is like, what do you think this billionaire punk who's building a casino to honor L. Frank Baum that called for the complete genocide of Indians, what do you think he's going to do when you've served his purpose? And this guy doesn't care about his supposed own nation that he doesn't belong to, the Oneida. He steals their land, trades it like it's his own damn chessboard, and then what do you think he's going to do when he's done with you? He's done with Kane. Kane's past was brought out in all this. His bully tactics have been brought out in all this. He was on an ESPN station. They're legitimate. They're not going to, take that crap. They're not going to sacrifice listeners for this, scoundrel.
He's going to be a very distant memory.
That's right. Yeah, and then the sooner the better. But
and then also Harry Reid, how he was trying to put the scandal out about the Redskins and stuff, saying, "Hey, let's get against them and stuff." But he's out.
Yeah, I seen him on TV the other day. He said he has some sort of an injury, and that's why he's not going to run. Yeah. The fact of the matter is he would have never got reelected, because I have some very powerful friends in Vegas that are in the gambling biz, and they've told me privately that they've had it with him. They've had it with him, and the unions are fed up with him. So he figured he better take a pink slip while he could, and that's what he did. That's what he did. He knew he wasn't going to win. And frankly, I think the last time he won, he stuffed the ballot boxes. If you can rig a slot machine to not pay off all the time, those guys know how to rig the ballot boxes.
Oh, sure. We saw it during the Bush election, especially the second one, where they had these Diebold voting machines that fifth graders could hack, and people were pushing the button for Kerry, and it was saying, "Thanks for your vote for George Bush," and
Gee, unbelievable, man.
Oh man, it's like I'd be punching it like I punched the ATM machine.
Give me all of it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, should we get Greg? Is Greg in the queue? Yeah, he's in the queue. Let's get him on. Gregory, this is the ambassador.
Hey, Guy. I'm calling you from Buffalo, New York. Everything's good here.
Good. Glad to hear your voice again. And how's things in Buffalo?
Very active. Very active. Lancaster is coming back alive and everything. We've got the school board elections coming up in May. And we've got two ladies that are very independent, very strong, and they are running for those seats. And that's what we're all focused and working on and everything like that. The kids at our school, Lancaster High School, the home of the Redskins and that, they're standing up and everything like that. They've got their shirts they're wearing and everything like that. And they've got a new saying and everything that they're wearing on their shirts is "Change it back."
That a boy.
Beautiful.
That's awesome. I want one shirt.
Back.
They got to send us some shirts.
Yeah. Tell them I'll buy one. Change it back, and I want to be there the night that school board takes the vote to change it back. I think Mark and I and Danny, that's
be out there and
we want to be there, and we'll stand right there with them.
Absolutely. We're going to have VIP seats for you guys and everything, because you've been a huge help to us and the other groups that are having the same problem.
Right. Well, we're reaching out to all of them, and we're trying to tell them, hey, this is your show, and we're going to put you on, and you can tell your story and tell it to the American public and anybody that's listening, because as long as I can underwrite this thing, we're just going to keep on going. But that's good. I'm glad that nobody's backing down, and change it back is right. That's exactly right. This is going to be the first school in the country that's going to change their name, that's going to change it back. You watch. And I've had people, go ahead.
I firmly believe that.
Yeah, and I've had people tell me that's going to be tough. I said, no, it's not. I says, if we get one, we'll get them all.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I hope you guys just hang on and stay patient. I know you can only vote these scoundrels out two at a time, but you guys are so strong, and that's why. Why are we going back to Lancaster? It's because of how special you guys are, and we've watched it from the get-go. People like you, Keith Scotland, and of course Brenda, Christopher, who are just not letting it die. I know that you guys have had the media and surrounding schools and everything else put you guys through hell. How are you guys keeping it together? How are you guys not crumbling?
Our team is very unified, but it's funny that you bring that up, because in the Buffalo News today, there was a large article in there And what it claims here is that Lancaster, New York, the problem with the residents there is they are covered by white privilege, which doesn't allow them to see other people's feelings or acknowledge that they're hurt and everything like that. And that was the article today. We've been getting slammed by the Buffalo News and the radio stations, just haven't heard anything from our side. And that. So we're up against a rock, but we've got a real strong team. We're moving forward, and the residents of this town are really getting angry. They are looking at a budget for their school this year of $99 million, and they want to put a $57.3 million complex attached to that. They want to put a college, pretty much stadium, on a high school here, and they want the Lancaster taxpayers to pay for it. And people are up in arms going, you never gave us a chance to talk about our name and the Redskins and everything, but you want us to reach for our checkbook and wallets to pay for your, activities and new developments that you want to put on.
Right.
And I am not for hurting the kids, and that's what they're throwing sticks now of, oh, you're going to hurt the kids, you're going to hurt the kids. Voting this budget down is not going to hurt the kids. It's just going to take away their play toys.
Right. Yeah, there's probably somebody getting paid off on that. That Graber or one of those phonies on that school board has a secret agenda that they're pushing to get this thing through, because that doesn't make any sense at a school. I mean, I could see it at a college, but at a school, I mean, putting a $50 million facility at a school.
$57.3 million.
Yeah, that's incredible.
On top of a $99 million budget. On top of that, and here's the thing: they've got fundraisers going. The LEAF project that fundraises for the schools and everything like that. People aren't donating. People aren't giving money to them because they're upset regarding the name change.
Right.
And the school board is scratching their head, going, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And they just don't get it. Right.
Well, they get it when it's like when you vote your pocketbook, and they
right.
get it. A friend of mine is a listener, and she's an executive at a car dealership here, Mary Gibson, who follows our show, had a good idea. When Brenda mentioned that there's going to be a walk.
Yes.
When is it?
April 25th.
April 25th. And
right.
where it's going to be in Lancaster, obviously.
It's going to be in Lancaster, right off of Central Avenue. And we're going to have free pizza for the kids. We're going to have cotton candy. We're going to have all kinds of stuff there. We're going to have some giveaways and everything like that. And we're not looking to raise money. We're not looking to bring money in. We're looking to remind Lancaster that this is a great place with great people, and we don't have to cower to bullies, and we don't have to be labeled as racist or anything, because we're not.
Right, I know. What Mary mentioned, and I'm saying this on the air because I'm hoping some of the Washington Redskins folks are listening, or some of the team are listening. It'd be nice to have some players up there walking with those kids. And they can be active players or retired Washington Redskins players walking that walk with those kids, and that's what Mary told me, and it's a heck of a good idea.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reach out. I'm going to try to reach out to some of the retired players and see. I mean, we had Max Zendejas, but he's over here. Be nice to have. It'd be nice to have somebody that's not too far away that would be willing to go stand with you guys, because that would bring some positive attention to the subject, and then be sure and tell everybody that's in the media when they call you racist or this article that you have a privileged white man's view. Tell them to listen to the first show of The Real Deal, and they can get a little current in Indian affairs. We can get them real current in Indian affairs with Bobby Blackfoot and Robert Dorr, and who's a member of the Blackfeet Nation. It told all about what Redskins means and how the Redskins got their logo, and he's very educated. He's not ignorant, as the name changers say, and they can get current in their own, on Indian affairs, So that's what I tell them. So yeah, that's
plus we have Claudia Tenney who just cleans house on payday Ray Halbritter.
Yeah, she just said, hey, you guys are the guys that called it out. It is a scam. She says, I've known it. It's a scam, and the guy's not an Indian. He's a fake. He's a phony, and he stole the Oneida Nation. Hey, did you see Dan's press release this week?
Yes.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I shared it. I put it out there and everything like that.
Good. Yeah, put it out there because that's what we do, and we hit it on the head. Just they're schoolyard bullies is just what we said. So, feel free to pass that on. And then our other press releases, where are they at, Dan? Are they on our Facebook page?
Yeah, I did a post a few days ago about it, but I'll put them on after tonight's show again. Just it's kind of, you can follow, my evolution in this whole thing since October 12th when we had the Redskins Cardinals game. We had 3,000 Native Americans rallying for the Redskins, all decked out in the gear. Their kids were with them, and everything like that. It was a great day. It was a nice sunny day in late Phoenix fall, which is beautiful out here, and to like 30 protesters that were mostly angry white kids from ASU. And I've said several times that I am a bleeding heart liberal, and I've been that kid, so I know exactly what was going through all their minds as Amanda Blackhorse and the rest of the Halbritter ilk out there were telling them they were doing something good for Native Americans. And I know it from both sides. The language that they use is geared toward a person like me, and that's how I know the scam kind of inside and out, and that's where I'm coming from when I write my stuff. It doesn't matter where you come from, what side of the political aisle or anything like that. This is a scam. They know what language they're using. They know exactly who they're appealing to, and anyone who gets in their way is going to be a racist, is going to be ignorant, is going to, be uneducated, or we're just going to be, racist. I don't buy it. I won't buy it. I know the people of Lancaster. One of the great things that I've seen come out of Lancaster is that everyone's kind of really taken up the history and really known, really examined what this town, what this name means. And I have all the faith in the world that had they come to the conclusion that this was a negative thing, that they would have willingly gone along with this. But as you know, and I know, Ambassador, as Mark Beasley here from who's an enrolled member of Navajo Nation knows, that's not the case. This is a scam. You guys are fighting for something real. You're fighting for your spirit. You're fighting for your pride, tradition, your honor, and you're doing the right thing. And the Real Deal stands behind you as long as you need us to.
Yeah, and we're going to get that name change back. This is going to be the first school in the United States, folks, that's going to change it back, and we're going to take a stand.
And boy, we really hope the people from Neshiminy, the Neshiminy Redskins, are listening, so you can see how things are going to develop for you. Because I know right now it's not being pursued too harshly through your board and things like that. But just watch how it elevates the people from Lancaster know. Also, I hope the people in Northampton, Connecticut, with their Indians are listening, because we know that there's an assault on them.
Yeah, they're going after chiefs. They're going after the Indian school. They're not stopping. That's one thing that for sure you can count on.
They want to wipe positive imagery of Native Americans out of the mainstream consciousness, so that they can steal from them. I mean, this Halbritter guy is probably not even Native American. He certainly doesn't have a drop of Oneida blood, as we've heard Claudia Tenney, who's researched him through and through, knows, and he doesn't care about anybody. And believe me, there's plenty of white billionaires who don't care about white people either. So even if he does have native blood,
he don't.
He doesn't. That census never came back, huh?
Yeah,
he's not sending
it. Anyway, Greg, we love you, man.
Guys, thank you for your help. Absolutely, you've helped carry us farther than we ever thought we could, just with the information and the contacts and, the radio show and just everything you do for us. We really appreciate it and everything. And when we win this, okay, and I do mean that, we've got a really dedicated core group of people here. When we win this, we're definitely sending you out some VIP tickets to come out here.
We'll be there. You can count on it.
All right?
All right. Thanks, Greg. You have a great night, brother.
Take care, guys.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. Okay, I think we're going to go to a break, and then we'll be right back with our next guest. Okay, we're back. That was Mick and the Boys singing a little Brown Sugar.
I'll tell you one thing you don't hear a lot in rock and roll these days is a good horn. But that was the great Bobby Keys. He just passed away a few months ago. I remember how sad you were about that.
Yeah. He was a friend of mine, and that was a tough day. I met Bobby Keys in Albuquerque 25 years ago or more, and his mom was living in Albuquerque, and he was a Texas boy. And so when he wasn't touring with the Stones, he'd spend a lot of time in Albuquerque. And so I was in Albuquerque, and I walked into a club, and I heard this horn playing, and nobody he just come as a fill-in with the band, and nobody really knew who he was. And when I heard that horn, I told the people I was with, I said, "That's Bobby Keys." I says, "Nobody plays a saxophone like that." I said, "That's Bobby Keys." So he during the break, he comes over and he sits next to me, and he was drinking Coronas, and so we started drinking Coronas, and we become friends ever since. And he, when the Stones would come to Phoenix, I'd go see him and hang out with them. And he was just a wonderful guy, just a good old Texas boy. And I think he's one of the only guys that the Stones ever fired and hired back. And the story on that is, I think I told you about that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He was in. They were touring, and they were over in France somewhere, and it was time to get on the plane to go to the next show. So Keith Richards goes to his hotel room, goes to the suite in the hotel where they all stay in suites, and says, "Come on, Bobby, we got to go, man. You got to get on the plane." And he's in a bathtub with this French girl, and the bathtub's full of champagne, and he's in there in the bathtub with this woman, and he's smashed, and he says, "I ain't going," and he says, this is where I'm going to stay. I'm in love with this woman," and he was always in love with different women, and so Mick Jagger fired him, and he fired. I mean, he says, "Hey, that's it. You're in the band or you're out." And Jagger, man, he don't put up with anything, and fired him. And it took about, I don't know, 8 years, maybe even more, to get back. And how he got back was Keith Richards gave him a plane ticket and told him to come wherever they were. And they were in a studio. That's where they were. They were in the studio recording. And Jagger didn't know he was coming, and he come in there, and they started recording. And then he put his horn to the song they were playing. And Jagger just kind of looked, and Richards told Jagger, he says, "I told you, he's the real deal, man, for the saxophone." So then after it was over, Jagger told Richards, "Bring him back into the band." So he got back into the band, and he stayed in the band till he got sick here. He didn't go on that Australian tour that they went on here just recently, and he ended up dying, and it was a sad day for me.
Well, yeah, again, you just don't hear the great horns. We were listening to the Creedence song on the way here, yeah. And Bob Seger has a lot of horns in his music, and I don't know why rock and roll got so far away from the horn, but these guys could rock, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they just tear it up, man. I seen a thing on Facebook that had Jagger's picture on there, and they asked him why he's still doing what he's doing, and he says, "I didn't think I was going to be doing it." He's 71 years old, and he says, "I didn't think I was going to be doing it when I was 20."
Right.
And then they made a statement that the age of the Rolling Stones, of the original Rolling Stones, they're older than the members of the U.S. Supreme Court. I thought that's pretty cool.
I thought you were older than the members of the Supreme.
No, don't go there. Don't go there.
Listen, and so we're back in Lancaster, and we talked to Brenda last week, Brenda Christopher, who's running for school board, taking democracy into her own hands to kick some ass and save some names. Well, there's 2 spots opening up, and she now officially has her running mate, and it's Kelly Dipsinski, who's also from Lancaster. And Kelly, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much.
Hi, Kelly. This is the ambassador.
Hi, hello. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great.
Kelly, tell us a little bit about your background and why you think you're ready for this job.
Well, hopefully I'm ready for this job. I'm a 93 graduate from, obviously Lancaster High School, and just have so much pride for my school. I also went to a vocational school in the area too at the same time. So, I just have a lot of love for my community and definitely for the Redskins. So this is time for someone like myself to step up and, take charge, I guess. I have kids in the district. My kids are young, but I do have a daughter in high school, and already she's really upset about this. They've grown up with this. We take them to everything we can to support the Redskins. So, they're upset too, and I want them to carry on this legacy just like I did. So, I'm hoping that we can save this.
Well, we will.
Did I pronounce your name correctly?
You did. Good job.
Well, see, my mom's maiden name is Klinowski. Love you, Mom. But one thing.
So you know what that's all about.
Oh, yeah. One thing that is not lost on me is all the great Polish names in Lancaster. Oh, my gosh. You guys are so...
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
But, we spend Christmas, New Year's, and Super Bowl Sunday morning every year with some good deli kielbasa. And then my mom makes glumki, and we all love pierogies, and
and I do too. I mean, I wasn't born Polish, but I'm Polish now. I've been married to my husband 19 years, and I adapted quickly to that food. That's some good food there.
It's pretty easily adaptable. As a matter of fact, I'm a Quigley, so my dad is Irish, and he's the one who's always pressing for the Polish food, even more than my mom. So,
well, hey, he knows good food when he sees it.
There you go. Kelly. So I've seen you around on the social media, and you've kind of just risen to the occasion on this. Tell me what that's like. I mean, you sound even a little bit, I hope that I'm ready for this. What really makes you want to do this? Well,
of course, this whole Redskins debate, really fired me up. I mean, that was the prompter. There's so many other issues going on with kids and, all the testing and things that are going on. But, I hope I'm ready. This is new for me. I'm tough. I mean, I'm not easily swayed. I will not just let things go. I mean, I will investigate things and do it with integrity, and I'm trustworthy. I feel like that's something that needs to be present, and that's not what's present right now in the board. So, right. Brenda and I, we have a lot of, transparency. I mean, we're going to bring, let's bring some integrity back to this board and listen to the community. I mean, that's what's missing. You have to listen to the people that live in your community, and people are very upset right now, and they have every right to be. They were never heard in this matter. So their voices need to be heard. These kids too, that are, throughout the school district. I mean, they're definitely, they're protesting, and there's something to be said about that. So, they're saying that they've, based this decision on a majority of this community, and that's just an outright lie. I mean, there's no way that is a truth. When you see it everywhere you go, people they're just never going to let this go. I think I've seen more people with Redskins apparel on than in all the years I've lived here. I mean, my daughter has worn a Redskins shirt for the last 2 weeks straight. She's got so many shirts now. It's awesome. And, I just think you got to look around, and these are the taxpayers. These are the people that live here, and they have such pride in this Redskin name. You can't erase it. You can't take 7 people that don't care about it and just expect it to go away. This is definitely fighting the good fight right now.
Well, that's good, because this show is for you guys. And our goal is to reach out to all the schools across America that are under the radar, or on the radar rather, by these phony name changers.
They're thugs.
I know, and thank you guys. That is just awesome.
Yeah, and we want to educate America that what the real term Redskins means, and And that's why our first show was so important with my brother Robert Dorr, that got on there and talked about how the Redskins got their logo and what the term Redskins means and what the word Oklahoma means, red people, red skin. Yep. And so when these people come at you, it's a con game. It's strictly a con game. And we're out here in Indian country. We're out here where there's real Indians, and not the guys that are back there. And we know the real deal, and that's why we call this show The Real Deal. And
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and I can just say for I'm just going to say for all the Redskins here in Lancaster. I mean, we look at this symbol. Our logo is just pure strength.
It is. It's a beautiful logo.
Isn't it great?
It's a beautiful logo.
There's certainly nothing. There's nothing that's nothing derogatory about it. There's nothing. I'm sitting here looking at Mark Beasley's hat with Chief Wahoo, which I love, but I could see how somebody could look at the overstated features or anything like that. This logo that you all have, and it's posted on the Real Deal's Facebook page right now. When I actually wrote a congratulations announcement for you.
Yes, thank you for that.
Oh well, that's wonderful. I love the democracy of this. Is that people are saying, we're not going to get mad. We're gonna go and we're gonna vote these people out, and you need somebody else to run for this open space, and Kelly steps right up, and maybe you would have never run before, maybe you would have, but I've watched you take a leadership role on this issue, and I think it's just what America is. You know what I'm saying?
It's great.
But there's nothing wrong. I can't see anything wrong with this logo. Maybe some of these overstated mascots are wrong. I mean, even the Cleveland Indians, their official logo now is just a C. They don't have a Chief Wahoo running around. But you guys also got rid of your mascot. I don't know what it was. I never saw it. But
and that was
you guys
quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was like over a year ago, right?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And I just think when you look at our logo, it's fierce.
It is fierce. It's strong.
It's strong. It's the strength. When you call yourself, for us, when you call yourself a Redskin, it's always been like, wow, you guys are warriors. This is you have that instilled in you, because you fight like you're a warrior, and it travels through everything in your life. You grow up proud of that name, and you know what it means to truly be from Lancaster and call yourself a Redskin, and it's really sad to me when people have to try to teach you that it's wrong, because we know it's not wrong.
Well, that's a big clue. Do you think that Latinos needed to be taught that the B word or the S word was derogatory? Did African Americans, did they need to be taught that the N word was derogatory? Right. And that's how you know that there's something fishy about this whole scam, is that you have to point it out and try to change somebody's point of view that this is racist, when we know. Listen, I grew up here in Phoenix, where there's plenty of Native Americans who come down here from Indian country and go to our schools, and it's a very it's a big city, it's a conservative place. The state's conservative. I've heard the worst names in the world, and you could tell about Native Americans, and you could tell they were derogatory. For one thing, I've never heard Redskin outside of the reference of a team, and now through Andre Bilbao and those guys that I've met in this whole thing, I know what Redskin actually means. And I know what Redskin means to 90% of Native Americans, like Mark here, who loves the tributes, who not only is a Redskins fan, but he's in there wearing a Cleveland Indians hat.
I support the Indians. I completely do. I stand behind them, as well as other tributes that are used in sports and stuff, and even to the high school level. But I'm actually a Dodgers fan. I'm branded for life.
That's okay because, just because of where I'm from and the teams that I grew up watching, I mean, I have 4 football teams that I cheer for as far as the pros go, and those are the Niners, the Steelers, the Cardinals, and the Lions.
I know there's some little spot in your heart that loves the Redskins.
I love for one, the thing I love about the Redskins is that it's a tribute to Native Americans, and it's in the best place that you could do it because they founded this continent. It's in Washington, D.C.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I love it. And it's such a strong emblem. You don't see him like looking sad or looking, just
no,
despaired.
They're warriors. That's
he looks strong and proud.
That's the spirit, You like I said, it kills me when they have to try to prove say, no, look at it this way. Like, the group that, I know that they brought into our school, which, they're just basically just this small group of hating everything that we're doing, because people have brought up the fact that, it's just the Redskin name. Well, it's not just the Redskin name. It's everything and anything Native American.
Absolutely. It's the Chiefs. It's the Indians,
and
the Braves.
And my, who's 9 years old, he's spent the last 3 months learning about the Native American culture, and he loves it. He comes home, he's telling me every single thing. And I think, this is crazy. Why this should not be happening? My kids respect other cultures. They know, they're learning all these awesome facts, and he wants to go to the museum and check it out because they have all kinds of exhibits. And, I just find it's so disheartening when you have even, just a small group that's coming in and they don't live here and they're just trying to tell our community, basically they have told our community what we can and can't do. And I just think, the people that are sitting on that board and the superintendent even, you buckled now, and now it just sets off this domino effect. You got to stand tall. That's what Redskins do. You got to stand tall for what you believe in and fight the good fight.
Yeah,
I wish I would have saw that, but now it's going to be up to the next,
right.
the next.
Well, we're going to get it changed back.
And they don't even do it with any respect at all. They don't hear your side. They do it with so much disrespect. And they're at your home, They need to respect your boundaries and they respect your authority and listen to you, that not just completely call you, ignorant, you're uneducated, this and that, And
that reminds me of something the Navajo have called Beauty Way, and that's what it's about. It's about
walk in beauty.
Yeah, well, it's about respecting others. You don't have to agree with them, but you respect them and you listen to their intentions behind it.
Exactly. You listen and you put yourself in their shoes, so to speak, and stuff. You help
right.
out
At least make it a fair debate. I mean, when you have something on the table, at least hear both sides of it and listen to the community that you live in, that you work for. And I don't know. It's just crazy to me, I guess. I don't even know what I want to say right now. I just find it totally crazy.
I know you're frustrated, and you're right there in the battlefield, and so
right.
I get it, and it is frustrating. But
even the Native Americans that live right here. I actually graduated with a girl who, came to the last meeting and protested with us. She is Native American, and she does not find it offensive. But, it falls on deaf ears. You could, there's a couple of girls that I did go to school with that keep saying it's not offensive. They're doing it in an honorable way. Yeah, exactly. Just as long as it's being honored, what's the problem?
Anybody who's on their side, this is the same thing that we see all over the country. Anyone who's on their side, it doesn't matter if they're white, Native American, part Native American. But if you're on the other side, it doesn't even matter if you're an enrolled member. It's how much Native American. Oh, you're a half or you're a quarter or whatever the measurable amount is to be enrolled. They start questioning what fraction of a Native American you are. And,
terrible, I know.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm Irish, Polish, and go ahead, more.
And once you do, outline that you're actually Native American, they're still disrespectful, and they're like, "Oh, you have no words. Shut up and sit down.
You're ignorant. You're ignorant. You're uneducated. Like, hey, you don't really get it.
I'm listening to you. I'm respecting you. Respect me." Like,
Right.
I'm
yeah,
listening
I
to
already
your
got
side of the story.
on
buddy.
that because I'm, Polish girl here, and they already questioned me, like, how native is this girl with this Polish name? Well, you know what? I mean,
You're
I'm
supported by
Lancaster.
Native Americans.
I always will be.
Exactly. We're here to stand behind you.
That is awesome.
And we're going to
guys.
be there and tell everybody to listen to our show. They can get current in Indian affairs and Indian country, and this is your show. And we're just going to keep on going, and we're going to have you back on. We're running out of time, so I do want to thank you so much for.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for hearing us and supporting us. It's fabulous. Thank you so much.
So nice to hear. I see your writing, but on the social media and stuff. But so nice to hear your great voice.
It's good to hear yours too. Thank you.
I hope you can yell louder than Graber because we need somebody like you.
I'm 10 times stronger voice than that one.
Okay.
All right, Kelly. Good luck, and the real deal is definitely behind you and behind Brenda and behind the rest of Lancaster.
And someone's got to post up some of those shirts. I want to see those shirts, so maybe we could get
Yeah,
a set
I
of
would
them.
like to see one of them. Change it back. That's going to be our motto.
Yeah.
Change
Oh,
it
I
back.
got mine. I already got mine, guys. Yep. Gonna be wearing that proud. So.
Okay, well,
Thanks,
get a picture
God.
of it. Get a picture of it to Danny, and we'll put it on our website.
I'll do that right now.
Okay, thank you so much. God bless, and we'll see you when we see you.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Bye. Well, I guess we're out of time, and thank you, Danny. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Ambassador, and Mark. It's always good to have you back, brother. We're brothers here on the show. We're brothers outside of this place, and it's always a pleasure, man.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
And
It's
for
awesome.
the record, Mark's my nephew, and I love him dearly, as well as his other family members. But anyway, I guess we're out of time. And Lexi,
For the last
for the
time.
last time, tell the audience why we're here.
Kicking ass and saving names, Ambassador.
You got it.
All right.
Thank you for listening to The Real Deal. Tune in to The Real Deal with the Ambassador and Danny Q every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and on demand 24/7 right here on the Double Wide Network.